In this video, we got another episode of the series where I rate and improve your guys' teams. You guys will send me your teams on Twitter at X7Tanaka. I'll put a tweet maybe every couple of days, every 3 to 4 days, and then you guys reply to that tweet with your team, how much MT you guys have to be featured in one of these videos or to have a chance to be featured in one of these videos. That's what everybody in this video did. But if you guys also want to comment down your teams down below underneath the YouTube comment section, I'll try to go through as many comments as possible and give you guys my best suggestions to help improve your team. But looking at the first squad here of the video, coming in from my boy Andrew Gala, he's got 2 million MT to work with and a really good squad to start off with. For the rating out of 10, I mean, this is probably close to like a 9.5. I would say like a 9.2 if I had to be really specific, but this is like in between a 9 and a 9.5 out of 10 team. I really like your backcourt on the starting lineup with Hito Turkoglu and AK-47. I think your starting lineup can pretty much stay the same. Maybe you could get Jonathan Isaac. That's the one card I'm thinking, and it really does depend how much MT you're willing to spend. Like if you want to spend a lot of MT, you can make some pretty big upgrades, but if you just want to make some small improvements, I would look to get I'd look to get Jonathan Isaac to play that starting small forward position, and then off the bench, I would look to maybe upgrade Ricky Davis to a Vince Carter. He's not that much more expensive. Well, he's definitely more expensive, but I think you got the MT that you can spend it on a Vince, and I do think Vince is a lot better than Ricky Davis and is a pretty big upgrade. And then for your backup point guard position, if you want to get a Ron Artest, you want to get a Luka Doncic, I think all those guys are definitely way better options than Lance Stevenson. And then for your backup center position, I'm not the biggest fan of Sabonis. Even a card like a Brook Lopez Dark Matter from the playoffs, a Dark Matter Mitchell Robinson from the playoff set, I think are both a lot better than Sabonis. So those are the suggestions I'd make for your squad. Get Jonathan Isaac for small forward, get Ron Artest for backup point guard, get Vince Carter for backup shooting guard, and then look to get either a Brook Lopez Dark Matter or a Dark Matter Mitchell Robinson from the playoff set. But I mean, starting off with a pretty good team, those are just those small adjustments I would make to your squad. Looking at the next team here, coming in from Mike, he's got 750 KMT to work with. Another really good team. I mean, this is easily a 9.5 out of 10, maybe even a little bit higher. Like you got that Vince, Ron Artest backcourt, which I love. You got Larry Bird coming off the bench. You got Rick Smith and Yao Ming. I mean, yeah, this is easily a 9.5. What I would do for your suggestions with 750K really depends how big of upgrade are you looking to make. What I would do personally is I would look to get AK-47 to play your starting shooting guard position, move Luka up to the starting point guard. So your starting lineup will be Luka, Dark Matter AK, Zion, Taco Fall, Yao, and then off your bench you'll have Ron Artest, Vince Carter, Larry Bird, Dikembe, and Rick Smith. And I think your squad's good to go. I would just get AK. I think that's the only card you need, to be honest, right? Start Luka Doncic with AK. That's an amazing backcourt. You get great offense with Luka, one of the best offensive point guards, and then you get elite level defense with AK. So that can be your starting backcourt. And then maybe if you want to upgrade Zion to like a, I don't know, maybe a LeBron or something like that, you could potentially, or like a Kevin Garnett or even a Jonathan Isaac, you could. But I like Zion. I think he's a really fun small forward to use. So your starting lineup would be, for example, Luka Doncic, AK, Zion, Taco Fall, Yao Ming. Off the bench, you would go Ron Artest, Vince, Larry Bird, Dikembe, Rick Smith, and I think that's an amazing team. Pretty much a 10 out of 10 lineup. Looking at the next squad here, coming in from NoHard, he's got 200,000 MT to work with. Tim Thomas is badged out, but Tumbo has all the needed shooting badges on gold. So definitely likes Dikembe. And I think Dikembe is still one of the best power forwards. Tim Thomas, if he's badged out, he's pretty much like his hero version. So I think your squad's really good. I would probably go to like another 9.5 out of 10 rating. I think your centers, though, are probably your weakest spot on your lineup. I mean, you can maybe upgrade your backup point guard and backup small forward, but to start off with, I would focus on your two centers. I would get Ralph Sampson for that starting center position. Going to cost you around 100K to get Ralph, but I think it's worth spending half of your MT to go ahead and get Ralph Sampson. For your backup center, I would get Brook Lopez or Mitchell Robinson. I think they're a lot better than Joel Embiid, so that means your two center positions are good to go for about in total like 125K. So now you're left over with 75,000 MT. For your backup small forward position, I would get Josh Smith. He's one of the best all-around dark matter cards in the game. He has no real weakness unless you don't like his jump shot, but I absolutely love his jump shot. I think he's one of the best small forwards, and he only goes for about 10,000 MT. So now you got 65K to spend on a point guard, and I would try to go get Ron Artest. You might have to save up a little bit more. You might have to go quick sell some stuff in your collection, or whatever you have to do. But what I would try to get is Ron Artest for backup point guard, Josh Smith for backup small forward, Ralph Sampson for starting center, and then Brook Lopez or Mitchell Robinson. I would go Brook Lopez personally for your backup center position. And once you do that, I mean, this squad is amazing. Those are just a couple upgrades I'd make to your team. Looking at the next squad here, coming in from Pablo, he's got about 50k to work with. He's looking to replace Sean Kemp, so 50k you can't do a whole lot with. I mean, for the rating out of 10 though, I would say probably like a 8.5. It's a good squad. I would look to sell LaMelo. I think you're actually, no, I wouldn't sell LaMelo. I think you're a pretty big LaMelo Ball fan. You got him in your profile picture, so keep LaMelo if he's your favorite player. After that, for the suggestions, I like OG. Pretty good 2-guard. Brian Scalabrini's great. I like your starting lineup. Don't mind that at all. I would just look to maybe get Brook Lopez for your backup center position, and then decide between Bill Walton and Bill Walton and Vucevic for who's going to play your backup for. If you want a different small forward over Sean Kemp, Josh Smith is the only like the perfect option, or Lauri Markkanen. He's good as well, but I love Josh Smith. Such a good 6'9" small forward. Has a great player model, amazing all-around stats and badges, a new great jump shot, pretty good dribble sigs. I would get Josh Smith to replace Sean Kemp. Even though I think Sean Kemp's a pretty good small forward, I definitely like Josh Smith a little bit more. And then like Hudo Turkoglu and Steven Jackson, I think is perfectly fine. So for this type of team, I would just get Brook Lopez for your backup center position and look to get Josh Smith for backup small forward. Looking at the next squad here, coming in from Jason, he's got about 100,000 MT to work with, and another really well-rounded squad. I would say another 9 out of 10 team. You got Taco Fall, Rick Smith, you got Lauri Markkanen. I would personally look to improve Sean Livingston to a Ron Artest. I think he's a lot better than Sean Livingston. So that's what I would do as your main suggestion for this squad, because after that, I don't think you really need any suggestions. Like if you wanted to get potentially a Vince Carter, you could go with him over Steve Smith, but I know a lot of people like Steve Smith over Vince Carter. So I think for your squad, it's really just getting what's his name, Ron Artest for that starting point guard position. Or if you're looking for that one big upgrade, maybe get Ralph Sampson to play over Sabonis. I'm not the biggest fan of Sabonis. If you like him a lot, like if you do like Sabonis, then keep him as your backup center and just get Ron Artest for your starting point guard. If you're not the biggest fan of Sabonis, maybe keep Sean Livingston and just go spend that MT on Ralph Sampson. He'll be a big game changer off the bench at that backup center. But looking at the next team here, he's got about 175,000 MT to work with, and another pretty decent squad. I would say this squad's like maybe an 8.5 to 9. I really like the backcourt of Ron Artest and AK-47 with 175k. Not like a crazy amount you can do. What I would do though is actually move, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, move Ron Artest to your backup point guard. Have Ron Artest and Vince Carter as your backcourt off the bench, and then for your starting point guard, go get Hudo Turkoglu, his hero version, for only about 10 to 15k. For your small forwards, if you're running Big Z there, for example, and then I guess you're going Thurl Bailey as backup power forward, I would definitely look to replace Sabonis. There's tons of different power forwards you can get. I would just recommend either grinding for Jack Sigma, or just getting Marc Gasol to play next to Ralph Sampson. I'd personally get Marc Gasol or Jack to play your starting power forward position. So your starting lineup would be Hudo Turkoglu, AK, Jonathan Isaac, Marc Gasol, Ralph Sampson, or Jack. And then for your backup lineup, you would go your bench. You would go Ron Artest, Vince Carter, Big Z. I would recommend maybe like a Dirk or a D-Rob potentially, or even a, the other. So maybe you get Marc Gasol next to Ralph, and then you go Jack off the bench next to Sabonis. And I would maybe look to pick up a Brook Lopez or Mitchell Robinson to play over Sabonis, but that's what I would do to upgrade your squad. And then looking at the last team here of the video, guys, comes in from Jay Measy. He's got about 1 million MT to work with because he did sell Invincible Kareem. So for the rating out of 10, probably like a solid 8, maybe 8 to 8.5. I'm just going to give you a whole new 10-man rotation you can build. I'll try to keep it as cheap as possible, but this is a 10-man rotation I would personally go for. So I would get Luka Doncic, AK, for your starting point guard and your starting shooting guard. Bring Ron Artest and Vince Carter off the bench. For your 2 small forwards, I would probably go Jonathan Isaac, Josh Smith. For your 2 power forwards, I would go, we can just keep it cheap. I mean, maybe, yeah, I would get Taco Fall. Actually, you need a tall point guard. I would get Taco Fall for your starting power forward position, and have Jack Sigma off the bench. For your starting center, I would get Marc Gasol, and then for your backup center, I would get Ralph Sampson. So your 10-man rotation would be this. It would be Luka Doncic, the dark matter point guard, AK-47, Jonathan Isaac, Taco, Marc Gasol. Your bench would be Ron Artest, Vince, Josh Smith, Jack, and Ralph Sampson, and I think your team now is a lot better than it was before and really shouldn't cost you too much to make that upgrade. But guys, let me know in the comment section down below. Like I said earlier, let me know your squads down below, how much MT you guys have and what your squad's looking like, and I'll try to get to as many comments as possible and give you guys my best suggestions. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.